Recapping our lineup on this Tuesday, there have been nearly 24 ransomware attacks on local governments already this year. So we're going to take you to one of the latest places to get hit, looking at how this issue is being addressed nationwide. Plus, museums trying some different tactics to attract crowds these days. So we're going to take you inside one spot, creating an experience that you would not expect to find. And the number of rideshare services for kids, it is growing. Now these new options, we're going to be taking a look at really how they work and what you need to know about safety. That's ahead here on The Now.
Thank you, Chris. This is The Now Indy on RTV6. I'm Amanda Starrentino. Downtown Plainfield could get a massive overhaul. Town officials say they want to build a new government center and a 600-seat performing arts center in Plainfield. The proposal is to build the facilities on the corner of Center Street and Main Street. The new government center and performing arts center would replace the current Plainfield Municipal Building. This is not a done deal. The town council still needs to figure out funding and fundraising options. If approved, construction would start in April of 2020. The government center would open around the summer of 2021 and the Performing Arts Center in the winter of 2022. Do you recognize this man? Now, IMPD says he was involved in a shooting and officers are trying to find him. Investigators say the shooting happened July 21st in the area of 2300 North Dearborn Street. That's on the northeast side between North Rural Street and North Sherman Drive. Officers say the man is wanted for aggravated assault. If you recognize him or know anything about the alleged shooting, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. You can remain anonymous. Kevin.
Well, a few clouds around today. I think what will happen, some of these will thin out. Any of the cumulus clouds will disappear once we get the sunset. We'll still have some mid to high level clouds, the cirrus clouds that we had earlier in the day. It's all about numbers right now because no rain in the state. Not expecting any rain until maybe mid-morning tomorrow. A chance for some showers, maybe an afternoon thunderstorm as well. Winds out of the west-southwest. Nice temperature recovery from the 40s in some spots to the 70s. Indy and Bloomington at 77, Kokomo up in Howard County with a 76-degree temperature. Between now and 11, some of the clouds will thin out. The wind will be rather light and will drop to 64 degrees during the morning hours tomorrow. Instead of the upper 40s to low 50s, generally middle to upper 50s for overnight lows. Hourly forecast for tomorrow. The chance for any rain just 20%. Consider yourself lucky if you get a shower or a brief thunderstorm. Temperatures once again climb into the upper 70s. I'll show you coming up, though, when we'll put the 8 in front of the 7. There's still some summer heat in the forecast. That's down the road a little bit.
Just hours after another person died due to vaping, a House committee gathered to discuss lung problems related to vaping. The CDC was there, and it warned everyone to stop using vape products and not to buy them off the street and not to modify them. CDC is still looking into the exact cause of these lung disease cases related to vaping. CDC has not pinpointed whether nicotine or THC vape products are to blame.
It may not even be the THC or nicotine part. It may be additives or substances that may be common. It may be material that is not labeled appropriately. And so we really do think consumers need to be quite cautious right now.
While no single brand has been ruled out, the FTC is leading the investigation into tracing products that may be connected to health issues. Federal prosecutors in California are taking their own charge in this investigation. Now, they're conducting a criminal probe into Juul. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. Juul does control about 75% of the e-cig market. About 30 lawsuits involving vaping-related injuries have been filed. These lawsuits also target Juul. The suits say that Juul failed to warn customers about the dangers of the product, and they also claim the company illegally marketed its products to minors. More lawsuits are expected there. Let's turn to the Now News feed. President Trump is freezing nearly $400 million in aid to Ukraine. The AP and Washington Post say it happened days before he pressured Eastern European leaders to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden's family. The president says other countries should be paying more aid to Ukraine. Well, more concerns about the Boeing 737 MAX. Government investigators say FAA inspectors who worked on pilot training standards for the MAX were unqualified and insufficiently trained. They also say the FAA gave misleading answers to Congress about training. The MAX is still grounded after 2 deadly crashes. New rules could help more workers see overtime. The Labor Department says that companies will have to pay certain workers up to more than $35,000 a year in OT. This will help fast food and home health care workers, for example. Now, this new rule, though, it is less than an Obama administration proposal that would have raised the amount to up to $47,000 a year. Let's get back to our lineup. We have seen nearly 24 ransomware attacks on local governments already this year. So we're in one of the latest places to get hit, looking at how this issue is being addressed nationwide.
And political insiders all across Indy.
We've seen around 170 ransomware attacks on city or county governments across the country in just the last 6 years. There have been more than 20 this year alone. Thomas Hoppe went to Texas, where hackers recently launched an attack on dozens of local government agencies.
Now imagine that your town had to stop functioning for a little while because of a certain cyber attack. Well, that happened right here in Keene, Texas.
People are friendly, kind. There's not a whole lot of crime.
Let's talk about Keene for a little bit. Keene is a small town 40 miles away from Fort Worth. It has about 6,200 people living right here in Keene. What is ransomware? It's basically some malware that hackers use in order to hold some files and documents hostage unless you pay a certain ransom. Well, according to the police chief, nothing's really been compromised, just things are a little bit more annoying now. Like their credit card system. Now people have to actually walk into the city building and try to pay for their utility bills because they can't do it online because of the ransom attack.
Yeah, I tried to pay my bill. They told me that the computers were down and I could pay in cash, but I couldn't pay with my card.
I came here because Keene is one of the latest towns to speak out and say they've experienced a ransomware attack. But there's been about 170 since 2013 in any city or county here in the U.S., and 22 of them alone have actually happened in 2019.
As far as we know, we don't have any way to decrypt it currently. We're still working with, obviously, with IT people, with the cybersecurity people to figure out how to fix it. But there were some lessons learned as far as being more kind of a harder target going forward.
Reporting in Keene, Texas, I'm Thomas Hoppe.
All right, Thomas, thank you. Still ahead in our lineup here on the Now. Getting people in the door at museums can be pretty difficult these days. So now some museums are trying some different tactics to get you through the door. We're going to take you to one spot, taking a pretty creative approach.
RTV6 is working for you.
Let's start the Now news feed. Boeing will start paying $50 million to the families of more than 300 people killed in 737 MAX crashes. The company made a $100 million pledge to help families over the summer. Boeing says families who take the money will still be able to sue the company. Well, as early as next week, catch and release could be a thing of the past in the U.S. Catch and release is when authorities release Central American migrant families caught at the border into the U.S. as they start the process of claiming asylum. Instead, families will be sent to Mexico to wait for their court hearing if they fear returning to their country of origin. American diets are getting better, but not much. A new Tufts University study says there has been some moderate improvement in dieting over the past 16 years, but doctors say diets still have too much sugar, white bread, and artery-clogging fats. Empty nesters are still footing the bill after their kids move out. Report by 55 Places shows that the average parent spends more than $250 on their adult children every month. About a quarter of these parents are paying their kids' cell phone bills. A fifth are helping with rent. Now, it turns out these parents, they are hopeful. The majority of them believe that their kids will be financially independent within the next 2 years. Now, when it comes to college, parents are ready to take any action they can to make sure their kids succeed. There's a new study from Student Loan Hero that shows 90% of parents would be willing to do anything to make sure their child gets into their first choice school. More than half would be willing to write a check as big as 10 grand to the school if it helped their kid get in. Now, nearly half said that they would want to be very involved in the admissions process because the school won't do enough. So we talked to a college admissions consultant who agrees with that aspect, that school counselors are overwhelmed helping students with the process, and students should seek help, and parents should be involved, but they should draw the line somewhere.
The don't list would include things like they shouldn't be writing their essays for them, they shouldn't be doing their applications for them, they shouldn't be hiring out a company with lack of morals to write things on their behalf.
Now, parents should be helping with things like organization and travel to test sites and college visits, and parents should not be putting so much emphasis on big-name schools. Instead, the focus really should be on schools where your student falls in the range in terms of test scores, grades, and academic awards.
Be realistic. Don't put your kid up on a pedestal. Focus on the match. I don't know why parents don't focus on what school would be a good fit and also what is in range. I always tell parents, if the odds are 0, it's 0 times 0.
Now, if your concern is your child's future salary after they graduate college, Wall Street Journal analysis found that school choice really only plays a role in certain fields, and in some, it makes no difference at all.
You may have seen ads on your Facebook or Instagram feed for weight loss pills and other products, and most of us just ignore them. But working for you, John Matarese shows us the latest trick they use to get you to click so you don't waste your money.
We've all heard the term fake news, and there's lots of debate about who it applies to. But there's no debate over this: fake news websites that appear to be endorsing beauty products. Legitimate news websites from CNBC, CNN, Fox News, and more are now being copied by diet pill promoters, so it looks like a legitimate news story, according to consumerworld.org. Kelly Clarkson and Tamron Hall, both with new shows, are among the clickbait stories you may encounter. Here, a Today Show report says Kelly Clarkson was forced to lose 105 pounds. It says Ellen DeGeneres gave her a keto weight loss supplement that worked magic, but it's all fake. So from the Doesn't That Stink file, deceptive news websites that look real. If you end up buying supplements thinking the Today Show or Good Morning America endorsed it, you'll say, "Doesn't that stink?" Consumer World says look carefully at the URL. This page sure looks like Fox News, but it's really a site called healthylifeupdate.com. And it links to a free trial of diet pills that, by the way, will probably cost you money. My advice: if a news website appears to endorse a product, be careful. Legitimate news outlets are not shills for facial creams or weight loss pills, so don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese for RTV6.
And you're looking toward the Indianapolis, or the State Fairgrounds. I brought it to Indy, but on the Indy's northeast side. That's the way to put it. 38th and Fall Creek, a little color in the trees. And this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it is the Fall Boat and RV Show. So we're definitely moving into a new season. Our rain chances are low. If you have big plans over the next several days and even this weekend, there is a chance you'll be interrupted by a shower or thunderstorm, but it's a low chance. Temperatures next 2 days will put in the comfortable category. That would be in the 70s. We're still above the average of 74 for this time of the year. Then temperatures will warm back into the 80s over the weekend and be in the upper 80s early next week. Model of consistency, though, right now. Temperatures in the upper 70s. We've had the clouds continue to increase. At first this morning, it was filtered through some thin cirrus clouds. Then we've had some more clouds develop through the afternoon, not leading to any rain, though, this evening. Temperatures will slowly fall tonight. They won't be as cool as this morning. I bet you thought this morning was actually cool, in the 40s in spots. Tomorrow morning, generally upper 50s, 7:41. That's our sunset time this evening. During the day tomorrow, we'll see clouds increase through the day with a slight chance for a shower or thunder shower mid to late morning into the afternoon hours. 78, the magic number tomorrow afternoon. 7 a.m., a couple of sprinkles western Indiana, some showers, thunderstorms in Illinois. These try to drop to the south and east. Our air is still relatively dry, so it's kind of like blocking a stiff arm here to these showers that try to move our way. Just consider yourself fortunate if you do get some rain. As I mentioned, there'll be more opportunities within the forecast, but never that widespread. Temperatures tomorrow, upper 70s, about the same feel as today. As we move beyond into Thursday, that low chance for rain, and temperatures generally in the mid-70s.
Let's turn to the Now News feed. There's a warning out about hot flashes. Doctors say they're connected to heart attacks and cognitive decline, and if you have them often, you should check with your physician. Well, a story that seems like it could be in a fantasy book. Researchers have found a hidden continent. They say it broke off of North Africa 14 million years ago, and it's buried under southern Europe. Researchers found it studying mountain ranges and plates. And speaking of continents, Airbnb offering an all-expense-paid trip to Antarctica. 5 people will be able to do scientific research on climate change and how to preserve the Antarctic. You can apply for this at airbnb.com/sabbatical. Tomorrow, scientists will release a new report on the ocean and the impact warming temperatures are having. Experts will discuss rising sea levels along with how the ocean is helping humans deal with increased temperatures. They'll also talk about the impact sea life could see in the coming decades. This project was an idea from the government of Monaco. As marijuana becomes legalized in more states, there are more jobs popping up in the industry. And now there's an app to help people prepare to apply for a position. It's called CanEd. Now, it has lessons on the marijuana industry, and it allows you to get certificates that prove your knowledge. There are dispensaries who have already started hiring people based on this app. More than 10 million people visited the Louvre in Paris last year. It was the world's most visited museum. Here in the U.S., the Met in New York took the top spot. But attendance is declining at some local museums. So Andy Taylor takes a look at how one museum is taking their exhibitions to the extreme.
It's common knowledge that museums are having a tough time getting millennials engaged and carrying content that they actually are interested in. But here at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, kids of all ages can't get enough of it. This is Extreme Sports Beyond Human Limits, an interactive exhibit.
It features 16 different extreme sports, from highlining all the way to free diving. It gets into the minds and the bodies of these athletes.
The exhibit uses virtual reality to help people understand what it takes to be an extreme athlete and the science behind their sport.
The technology, I just learned about the wingsuit, how it makes you fly, and if you could dip, it makes you shooting up.
The museum is also tapping into the mindset of teens like Tyson, creating an experience that's unlike anything they're used to.
There's going to be an image that flashes up, and you've got to try and match your body to that.
From contouring your body, rock climbing, stepping into the life of a whitewater kayaker, seeing what it's like to fly, and learning what it takes to recover from a major sports injury.
Museums are now a place where people come because they want to have fun, because they want to spend time together with their family or their friends. They want to learn something absolutely.
Jody Schumer works for the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. Museums are using different tactics, she says, these days to attract more people. Take the Museum of Ice Cream in San Francisco. They did this by embracing the smartphone culture, where taking selfies were encouraged. Or bringing museums to the community like the Nomad Art Bus in Tampa. After going through the whole exhibit and learning all this new knowledge about what an athlete has to go through, you get to put it to the test through a Ninja Nation obstacle course. Although exhibits like this one draws kids in, Garth says they hope it's more than that.
These are environments that can inspire people to go out and experience nature and see what is available to them outside of the city.
I'm Annie Taylor reporting.
Annie, thank you. And finally in our lineup today here on The Now, having a rideshare service for your child sounds convenient, and there are even more options for this now. So we're going to be taking a look at how the costs compare and how they stack up when it comes to safety. You're watching The Now.